Hi, this is Mr. Aguilar again. So this video we're going over the demo slides that I built. So you should have already watched the first video going over the assignment for the color theory presentation with the color that has been assigned to you. So I did brown. Brown is a neutral color. It's not one of the colors that are assigned. So I wanted to make sure that you guys had a nice demo. So you should have your checklist of what you're going to do. So you have the option of looking at this. You also had it presented in a slideshow that you could go through. And again, the slideshow is also containing the links like to slidecarnival.com to get your base slides. So I went over this in the previous video. So now I want to show you my demo. So the first thing I want to get into, here is my graphics folder. And when you look at the graphics folder, these are all the images that I collected that I want to use in my slides. Now, you see that there's a ton of images. I'm not using all these images, but I wanted to give myself the option to be really creative. And if I only selected a handful of images, I can't be as creative. I'll be limited to what I can do. So again, I don't want to have to go out later and find more graphics because I didn't have enough. I'd much rather get too many and not use them all than not have enough and then have to go find some new ones. So these are all the graphics that I use. Again, it's not that hard. You can collect your images in a matter of minutes. You could probably spend 15 to 20 minutes and you could probably find about 30 to 40 images to use, if not more. Here's the other thing. Here's the Google Doc. So I showed you how to create a new Google Doc. I did this one for the meaning of black. This is the one I did for brown. And again, you're going to see what brown means. Brown is a natural color. And if you notice these, you see these highlights throughout all the information. So what I went through is I went and cherry picked the information that I wanted to use, and I'm going to use a lot of these to create specific slides. So for instance, the variation of the color brown. I have a slide just on the variation of brown. And I left myself little notes, could be a brief summary, needs its own slide with corresponding imagery, meaning there needs to be an image that goes along with the description of this. Brown is predominant color on the planet, along with green. Brown is comforting and stabilizing, while green is balancing and rejuvenating. Just what we all need to help us deal with the stresses of modern life. So again, I need a picture of nature, something on the planet that relates to that information. Here I said use that quote. The color brown gives reassurance. Here's the quote. It's quietly confident, but never the life of the party. So I want to use that in my slides, so I make sure that I highlight it and give myself a note. Now, this is why you want to do this. As you go through the information, as you find something interesting, don't count on remembering what you're doing. Make sure you give yourself a note and you don't have to think about it again. You could literally just go down and start creating slides based off your notes. So this is one of the things that I really wanted to show you. I had, how many pages? I had 7 pages of information on the color brown. I did not use all of it, so you can see what's highlighted and what is not highlighted, but that was enough for me to create my slides. Okay, so that is my Google Doc that I created to collect all that information on brown. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at my slides. So I'm going to pop this open so you guys can see it. I'm going to be going over this in class. Again, this video is really designed for people who are not in class because they're out sick on independent studies or for whatever reasons that they might have. So again, your title page should be interesting. Try to find a graphic that's going to be eye-catching. I'm going to take you through this really, really fast. I'm going to show you the first couple of slides just so you can see what you need to do while setting up your presentation, but I'm not going to go through the whole thing. This is shared with you in Google Docs. So you can go through and you can look at these slides and see how I set things up. I do not expect you guys to go in as much detail as I have, but sometimes I get carried away with my demos, and this is clearly the case when you look at the number of slides. So here is my title page. And I created transitions. This is the meaning of brown. Brown is a natural color associated with earth and results in a sense of stability and support. Given its link to earth and nature, brown brings to mind farming and agriculture, other outdoorsy activities. It is warm and friendly, practical and dependable, and can also represent the old-fashioned and well-established. Vast amounts of brown can it looks like I have a typo. It should say vast amounts of brown can lead to feelings of loneliness and sadness and isolation. I'll make sure I fix that in just a second. Now, I used star anise, which is a warming spice for food, as my image because it fit some of the description in the title. Here's one of my quirky things. Brown is not often used in logos. So again, this is talking about UPS, very specific information to the brown and how it's used. So this is one of my quirky slides, one of my quirky informations that I talked about. I'm not going to read through everything. And again, I added some animations so you can see what happens when you click. And if you want to do anything like this where you're adding some of these animations, we went over it in our demo. But again, if you need me to walk through it again, just let me know. Again, brown is a warm neutral color that you can use as a background that conveys warmth and wholesomeness. So I wanted to find an image that related to that warmth and wholesomeness. And here I got a bunch of spices, majority brown, but then you see some of that yellow turmeric and you see some of that red chili peppers. But these all go together. And again, here's another one that I have the animation on. So in large quantities, it can seem vast, dark, and empty, like an enormous desert devoid of life. I found that quote to be very interesting, so I wanted to find an image that related to that quote. So I found this desert picture of dried mud. You can see the brown. You can see how it relates to that quote. And these are some of the little tidbits that you guys can get. So again, if you want to add some animations, it's really easy to do. We went over it in the tutorial, but I understand if you guys might need some extra advice on how to do this. So these are different types of brown: light brown, dark brown, tan. They each have their own meaning, so I have that included on there. And here's some other variations of the color. And again, this is all stuff that I found in my research. So I wanted to make sure that you guys can see some examples of that. And again, I get carried away. I like the animations. I like it to be interactive. I want to make my slides as visually interesting as possible and slightly interactive. And again, so here is brown used in design. So this is what I'm talking about when I want you to find graphics of how your color is used in design. So think of interior design, graphic design, any way that it can be used. I want you guys to find some images, have a couple slides showing it. Brown along with green are the two most common colors we come across. Why do you suppose that is? Again, quirky information. Notice that I tie in my picture to the quote that I'm using about brown. So tying in your graphics to the information you're giving is important because it helps make connections. And again, here are some swatches of brown and green. Brown and green, you're going to see it a lot together because that's what we see in nature all the time. Again, here's another animation. Brown is the predominant color on the planet along with green. I'm not going to read through everything. Again, I just want to show you what you need to do. And here's brown found in nature, brown wood, and then you have those green leaves. Okay, so I'm going to stop here. I don't want to go through all the slides. I just wanted to give you guys a good example of how you can use information. Brown is for loyal companionship. Again, you can see how I keep inserting these graphics of how brown is used in design, how we see it in food, how we use it in cooking, how we use it in interior design. Again, the more images you have, the more information you collect. Here's that quote: brown is quietly confident, but never the life of the party. As a neutral color, brown works well with all other colors as long as their values are not similar, meaning it has to be in contrast with the color. So what I'd like you guys to do, is go through, look through these slides. Like I said, I get a little carried away. Business and Brown, right? A&W Root Beer. Here's all the different logos that use brown. Louis Vuitton, Gloria Jean's Coffee, Cracker Barrel, UPS, Cotton, M&M's, coffee, right? Football, Star Anise, spices, cinnamon, things that we relate, chocolate, eggs, candy. So again, I just went through and I wanted to create as in-depth slides as possible. I wanted to give you guys a wide variety of things to look at. There's some things I was playing around here, but I landed up not using. This is what I was talking about. Save some of those graphics in your template because you could use those graphics in your template to create some interesting slides. So go through, look at this, see what I did. Look at it at your own space. Hopefully you get some inspiration or a better idea of what to do for your project. So once again, this is all posted in Google Classroom. You have all the links. You have the links to my Brown presentation. You have links to the description of the assignment and slides. We also have that same thing in Google Docs. So however you prefer to get that information, go ahead and grab it and use it. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me, or if you're at school, just come and ask me questions and I will help you out. So till next time, this is Mr. Aguilar, and I hope you found this video useful.